Here's another one of those videos that might not seem like that big of a deal. And of course, it's never a big deal until it actually becomes a problem. So what I am about to suggest is that if you are going to lock valuable items up on the job site, make sure that you do not lock them to items that can be removed within a few seconds with a sledgehammer or a saw, a chainsaw, Sawzall, with all these battery-powered tools. And I hope I'm not giving any criminals any ideas, but I am trying to get you as a contractor or a property owner, somebody who's going to be doing some work, and you need to lock stuff up on the job site to make sure that you try to lock it to a part of the building that is firmly secured. That is not just, you're not going to be able to just grab something and break it, beat it apart with a sledgehammer. I mean, think about it. You come here the next day and your air compressor or your generator's gone and they've destroyed a section of the building. You know, I mean, with this right here, I'm sure I could actually grab a sledgehammer and just swing up. Just take one big swing and separate the top plates from the little cripples or wall studs, lift this up, and I'm gone. Probably within a couple of whacks, I've got a nice area that is firmly unsecure. And this is just the stuff we got to think about. I have seen people lose things on the job site. I've even lost things myself that were in a secured container with a lock on it. So, for example, one time we had a big utility bin and someone brought a cutting torch in, cut the side of the door, cut a section out that was probably about 3 feet wide by about 5 feet tall, and took everything in the container. So I'm not telling you that you're going to be able to secure everything all the time. It's going to be a win-win situation, but I am suggesting that something like this could be eliminated. You know, something, don't make it easy for somebody. You are going to have to learn to think like a criminal sometimes, or at least think about things you're attaching these items to. I mean, I've seen people wrap their generators around king studs, you know, wall trimmers, corners of a building, and then someone just comes in with a car, backs in, smashes it, grabs a sledgehammer or a saw, and they're gone with the stuff. Now, there is another problem here, and I don't really know if you noticed it, but there's a good chance that the walls here need to be drywalled. There's a good chance that this is not going to be approved by a building inspector, that you're going to need to have this drywalled because of the firewall here. This is separating the living area, and somehow this gap's going to need to be filled, or you're going to need to fill the underside of this. So if you are going to lock something up, make sure that you do not lock it to a part of the building that someone else needs to work on. So again, there are two things here. One, lock your valuable items to secure items. Put them in your vehicles. Take them off the job. Take them home with you. Put them in secured containers. You know, make sure that you're in an area that is there's not a high crime rate. You're all going to have to take this into consideration. And then, of course, don't lock anything to a part of the building where someone actually needs to work on that part of the building. And again, I've seen people lock stuff to something like this, and someone needs to do some work, and they just simply break it apart and then grab a sledgehammer and smash it back together and do their work. And now your air compressor or your generator isn't tied to anything, and it's susceptible to theft. So don't forget that construction workers, some of them are quite creative, and they actually might do the damage to your chains or your cables that you're using. They might actually just come in there because they got to get their job done. And if you're dumb enough to put your stuff in their way, you want to lock your ladders up or something like that, and you're blocking something, don't be surprised to come in there and see your chain cut or your cable cut. These people have tools to get rid of this stuff. And once that's cut, your stuff is now going to be free for the taking. So don't want to beat this video to death, but I think I have made my point about locking things to objects that are unsecure or to objects where someone else needs to come in and do some work.